Well, welcome to Southern Bowie Outdoors, episode 4. Now, today's not a how-to video, it's just a how we do video. So you follow my advice at your own risk. But today's show is brought to you in part by MPS Truck Lines in Mount Juliet, Tennessee. If you live in the Middle Tennessee area, Hoss, and you looking to stick a little more green in your wallet, you need to give these folks a call at 615-288-2354. They'll start you out at up to 60 cents a mile, depending on your experience and your good driving record. And they know what it's like to want to be home, so y'all give them a shout. Also, it's brought to you by Edwards Feed Mill. Open Monday through Friday, 7 to 5, Saturday, 7 to 12. They're located at 123 West Market Street in Lebanon, Tennessee, and they're the preferred feed mill here at Southern Bowie Outdoors. So you go by there and you give them folks a big hello from me, and you tell them Southern Bowie said hi. I also got to say a big, huge thank you to Carrie and all the good folks over at Image 360. They're open Monday through Friday, 8:30 to 5:30. They're located at 218 South Maple Street, Lebanon, Tennessee, or you can find them online at LebanonTennessee.image360.com because the new Southern Bowie Outdoor stickers are in, baby, and they looking fine. And why, I sure got to thank them. They done a wonderful job. So without further ado, let's get this dog and pony show on the road. What do you say?
I have come here to chew bubblegum and kick ass. And I'm all out of bubblegum.
Oh. Hey, good morning, or good afternoon, or good night, whatever time you're watching this. We're going to fire up old Luther today and run up to my daddy's and install a fuel tank gravity feed. He's putting a new fuel tank in his truck. I conned him out of his old one, and he wants to gravity feed it into his fuel system, which is pretty simple setup. There's not that much to it. I've never done it before, and I may end up doing it to mine, but I figure if this metal line runs down, you got a coupling right here above your frame. So, and there's your DEF line runs beside it, and of course you got a ground block, or a ground wire goes to your frame. So, looks like if I take this coupling right here off, I should be able to pull this pipe back and measure this pipe and get the same size splice as this pipe is.
Can you measure the round of pipe? Tell me how big or round it is?
Yeah, but hell, it'd be just easy. It's probably loose. So the little clamp's a 7. The big one's an 8. And I got to cut this wire tie. So 7, 8, and a 10 on this firewall for the ground so you don't die when you're getting fuel. And all this is loose. So I just need to take this outside loose, and then the pipe measured out to be exactly 1 3/4. If you got a 2014 Dodge, it should be a 1 3/4 inch pipe. All right, so Daddy's parts that came in. We didn't get to do it this weekend because of the storms, and it seems like all I talk about storms, ain't it? We didn't get to it because of the rain and storms and flooding and everything else that went along with it. So you can notice my big, massive, earth-moving tractor back here in the background. I had to use it to work on my brother's driveway yesterday. But we're going to take his fuel tank, and I've got some conveyor belt, like 1/2-inch thick rubber conveyor belt. The only way to cut this stuff, man, is with a razor and a straight edge. Of course, measure it off and Sharpie it if you can see the Sharpie. But get in the sun and do it quick, because that rubber, when it gets warm, it dries that Sharpie out. We're going to cut it the width and length of the tank. That way it sits under the tank, and then you got that barrier between. But the way his is made, his has a straight out inlet that screws into your drain plug on the bottom. So instead of having a 90 to where it can go straight down through the floor, it goes straight out of the tank itself. So what I'm probably going to have to do, we're going to have to look, but to keep the toolbox, centered, I'm probably going to have to take the tank and drill the inside of the bed and go straight through the bed of the truck and then down between the outside of the bed and the inside of the bed under the, the fender area. Still looks good. You got to take these 3 little star headed, I guess, Torx bit, screws out. You drop your inside liner down out of the way. Of course, I tied all it up with a bungee cord, excuse me, because I knew it'd be a few days before I'd get back up here to be able to work on it, and we'd have to get the parts in. So everything still looks good from this side. That's all dropped down. We've got to cut off the main pipe to fit. And of course, we had to remove the light to get it out of the way because all this was dropping down on the wiring harness of the light. Truck. Try to get it in place kind of where it needs to be. And then I have to raise it back up. I have to plumb the on-off switch in, raise it back up, and mark it and drill this bad boy out if I can't make that pop out work. Way to do it. So it's cut 18 by 54, the same size as the bottom of his fuel. I laid the soapstone on the edge and come up here, and I just gradually scratched and worked my way around the outside diameter of that soapstone. So it should, if I put my drill bit right in the middle, it should have me right directly off this male output to where I can shoot that fuel line through the wall. And we're going to now I've got my sleeve. This ain't the length I'm going to use, but this is the size sleeve I'm going to use. And sleeve the inside of this, just like that. And silicone it all up real good with the fuel line running through the center. When the fuel line goes through the center, it's going to swell that pipe out even more. And it's going to be a little bit snug, and that's what we want. So we can drop it down between the outside of the truck and the inside of the bed, and then feed it over to the inlet going into the tank of the fuel tank. A minute ago. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to feed this old line through and see how much I need to miss everything, and then cut it off to the length I need. So I've got it fed through the top side. I just got to go to the bottom now and pull it down, then come back up here and cut it off. That way I know nothing's touching any metal on the fuel line itself, and he won't have any trouble going down the road. No leaks, no fuel blowing everywhere. Working the pipe on. And then we'll tighten it up, slide the tank over, and it's ready to bolt it down. Now we got her set at 5 3/4 from each corner of the inside of the bed, dead on the money. So I'll put a link in the description where you can find the parts we used on Amazon. I gotta cut about 4.5 off the end.
4.5, what?
And that'll give me enough room to splice all this in. Should. Hopefully. If not, we'll just have to go buy another damn fuel line. The inside of that mark, which is a little under 4.5 inches from the end. That's what I gotta have. I just wanted to double check myself so I don't mess this truck up. Cleaning up all this edge, all this rough stuff you can see. Smooth it down real good. That way we ain't got to worry about no shavings or nothing in his fuel. And it'll be smooth on those couplings, those rubber couplings. Stick up in there like that. And they want this straight up and down, but the way his truck's made, there's a ridge on the bed that'll cut that fuel line. So I'm gonna turn it sideways just enough to where it'll miss it. Enough room, I think, to miss everything up here on top so it don't cut his line. Got the DEF pushed back in. That's just oil where I sprayed it on there to make it. When you get these fittings like this, they don't want to slide together. Spray a little WD-40 on your pipe and it'll slip right up on there. So all we gotta do now is connect the fuel line over here and then zip tie everything up. And she'll be ready to rock and roll.
Yeah, I can go down ahead.
All right, so it comes through the firewall. It's sleeved and protected. It's gonna run right straight down through here. I'm gonna where to hold it in place and try to keep this line as high as I can so I don't have any bows in it. And I'm running across the top of this. Across the top of this. And I've got it protected between the bed with a sleeve. And then right through here. And it's protected under this edge with another sleeve, just in case it vibrates and rattles, you know. So once I get this tied on, push this up and put my new clamp on. Them little cheap clamps broke, so we're trying to find another one. I've got some in my truck. Now that I've done it before, I got a better idea of what to do. It'll go a lot quicker. Plus I won't be filming, so that makes it a lot quicker too. But with this Dodge, it being Daddy's, you know, I'm just particular. If it was my truck, I'd done burnt the hole through it and been done. But it's not mine. You know, I want to make sure he's safe and took care of and everything's in good shape. So all we got to do is get us a hose clamp and something to wash these greasy hands. And he's ready to go camping. Well, I'm kind of proud of this one. I worked really hard on that tank, and it come out really good, and I'd never done that before. So, well, I hope y'all enjoyed the show. We'll be back out on the water next week trying to catch old biggins. So, y'all like, subscribe, tell your mama and them about us, and ring that bell.